Oh, I know it. Okay. Great. Great to be here. Thank you very much for this incredible opportunity. And I'm here to talk about the state of customer experience in India. And I've got a fabulous set of 3 panelists who will collaborate with me together to provoke you, to inspire you, so that we can advance the cause of customer experience in this country. So why is this customer experience important? Why this conversation on customer experience? Many a time when we talk about customer experience, it is always linked to customer service. Now, customer service is a very small aspect of the orchestration of entire customer experience. So I start off by saying why customer experience is so critical for every business to focus on. On the y-axis, I talk about the value that we create for a business. As you move up the y-axis, you create a differentiated experience. And on the x-axis, we talk about the ability to charge more, the ability to create pricing in elasticity so that you can unlock more value. The more you are towards the right, the more you command a premium, the more you unlock value. So if you go back in history, how did companies create value? If you go back 150, 200 years, the world's biggest companies were commodities. People who optimized, got commodities, distributed it around the world, and got value. As we moved up, then people created goods out of these commodities. They branded these good commodities, they branded them, they created global supply chains, and you had the likes of Panasonic and Xerox and GEs of this world, or Toyotas of this world, who created fabulous products and distributed them around the world, and they became successful. Then came the era of the services economy. It was not enough to sell products, you needed to deliver outcomes. So we created service-oriented companies. We took products, orchestrated experiences, and companies like Starbucks and others gave value to us, and we paid significant more value as we moved up the value chain. We are now entering what I call the era of experience economy. It is not enough to deliver a service. It is not enough to deliver the coffee. It is important to orchestrate an experience because value is unlocked there. Otherwise, we will not be able to differentiate. Right? So companies create value through one of 3 ways. Now, you create value by creating it effective functionally, making it seamless, frictionless. You know, the Flipkarts of this world, what do? They make it frictionless, one-click buying, delivery to your doorsteps, and that is the way they have created value. Then there are people who create value through economy. That means I make it cheaper for you. I'm the cheapest you can buy, right? And that is their proposition. But the most important way to create value moving forward is through psychological value, emotional. The more you connect emotionally with the consumer, that's where you get the most value. If we do not, I believe economic value and functional value is now table stake. If we don't migrate and start connecting on the emotion, be it a B2B or a B2C, you will not be able to unlock full potential for your business. So what we did was we said it is not enough to define customer experience as in most cases you say customer experience is customer satisfaction score or an NPS score. That is not enough to orchestrate a great customer experience in the experience economy. To orchestrate a great customer experience, you have to cover multiple dimensions. You got to have a great digital experience, which India is very good at. We all have experiencing incredible digital experience, maybe the best in the world. Second is you need to create a great brand experience. We have had some very powerful companies who tell great stories of their brands. You have to integrate that brand story into your overall experience. The third is employee experience. An empowered employee delivers that experience so that you can orchestrate value. And finally, you have the service experience. So you got to orchestrate this across these 4 dimensions. That's when you become iconic company. That's when you become best in class in this world. So what we did is we picked up these things and we said, let's measure 400 of India's top companies across these 4 pillars. We took these 4 pillars of digital, employee, service, and brand, and we identified over 60 parameters. and we ranked these top 400 companies across 10 different industries. We ranked them on these dimensions. And we said, let's rate them out of 1 to 5. If you are above 3 means you have some systems in place, you are proficient. If you are above 4 means you are advanced. And if you are 5, you are exceptional. Now 5 is very difficult to achieve. So we didn't give it to anybody because that is aspirational. We need to work towards that level of success. So what we did is we did this detailed research. We shortlisted 400 companies. We looked at everything from your App Store rating to your Glassdoor rating. We opened up bank accounts. We bought plane tickets. We went to the branches. We bought SIM cards. And we benchmarked companies across 60 different parameters. And we created a unique score for each of these 400 companies. Then we aggregated the score across these 400 companies to say, what is the state of customer experience in India? So what do you think is the state of customer experience in India? Is it good or not good? It's bad. Indian consumers are the hardest to please, most demanding. I'll tell you one thing. If you want to become great in delivery of customer experience, as consumers, we also have a role to play in enabling and making sure that we enter the experience economy well, right? So the score for India is 3.17, right? 3.17 out of 5. That is the average for India. The good news is there are some great brands who are at 4.4, 4.5, right? And we have measured in a comprehensive manner across these 4 dimensions, so you have a scorecard to measure yourself. And we hope we can make that progress. Now, what is good is, the telecom companies, they operate at a scale of serving 400, 500 million customers. They have truly transformed what it means to be connected digitally in this country, and they have got relatively the better score. I was looking at the earlier panel, and it is so timely that I am presenting after the earlier panel on healthcare. Unfortunately, healthcare is the weakest score that we have today, right? So we have a lot of work to do. The other good news is, what we also did is we captured the score pillar-wise. You can see that we are very good in digital. Our average score in digital is 3.21, which is much higher than our average score in service, which is 3.10. We are good in digital across the board, and the best companies are at 4.43. So there's always a benchmark that you can compare with. So the whole report is available. You can download the report. We'll make it available for everybody. It provides the detailed benchmark, and we are delighted to launch it here together with NASSCOM and Kyndryl, so that, together we are setting at least now a scorecard on which we can measure continuously and see the progress that we make on customer experience. So I want to leave you with this final slide, why I think customer experience is so critical for our country. We have now created differentiated value to serve the world in terms of business process outsourcing as well as global capability centers. But the next layer of economic value will come through the orchestration of great experiences for companies around the world. We say Atiti Devo Bhava. It is ingrained in our blood. When somebody comes into our home, we treat them like guests. We treat the guest like a god. Why is it that we cannot do that in our businesses? If we can truly integrate that, then we can create that economic flywheel for this country, right? So I truly believe that experience can be a huge GDP multiplier, because we are currently operating and optimizing cheapest product, frictionless service. Imagine if all these companies start moving up and creating value on emotional layer, then how much of a GDP multiple that we can grow with, right? Second is, we need to continue to build that national infrastructure. We have created some great financial payments infrastructure. We have created great social measurement systems on the country. Government has done a fabulous job, but we need to start creating more experience layers so that we can deliver that experience at scale around the country. And finally, that will lead to our ability to deliver experience as an export around the world. So in order to discuss this further, I've got 3 wonderful panelists. They bring 3 diverse perspectives. I want to invite first Senthil. Welcome, Senthil, on stage. Give a big round of applause. Now, Senthil, I don't know, he's not, please have a seat, Senthil. He's very reserved. He doesn't tell much, but he's got 25 lions at home. He's won the Lions Award globally for some of the best ads that are created from this country. He's best in class in our country. The next best person has only 17. So he's truly created some of the most iconic campaigns. He says emotions should create outcomes. You may not know this, but he created the campaign called Bleed Blue, Bleed Blue in 2012. That campaign led us to winning the World Cup. Is it not true? As a nation, we rallied around that campaign. That is the power of emotion. So really thrilled to have you. Huh? What happened? You want to say something?
No, nothing. That was old.
That
was old.
Yeah.
We also just did the Will to Win campaign.
For the Women's World Cup as well. And India won as well. Wow. I think the next campaign should be for Twimbit, so I can also win something globally.
Sure, we'll do that.
Thank you. Next up, I want to invite Bhaskar. Bhaskar is the regional director with NASSCOM. We work together with NASSCOM to create this study. Bhaskar, welcome. Bhaskar is extremely passionate about tennis. His Twitter handle or Facebook handle says, Roger, please don't retire. He's not listening to you. Sorry. But welcome, Bhaskar. He's equally passionate about customer experience. And then I have Sean Sen-Gupta. She is the design lead for Kindle in this country. Welcome, Sean. Thank you. They say Sean is as cool as a cucumber when it comes to design. She brings the calmness into design. So great to have the three of you here. Maybe, Senthil, we got to start with you. We are all getting into this digital economy. Attention span is so little. How do we infuse emotion into this digital layer, digital platforms? Is it even possible? Because when we go and talk to a chatbot, we all hate it. We have not designed it with that experience and emotion in mind. So where is the opportunity for us to pursue that? If you can share some insights, please.
The chatbot is largely transactional. I think the challenge is to how do you build emotion and make the chatbot an emotional sort of speaker or an emotional connection, and then you'll probably fall in love with that chatbot. So, for example, humor is one of the, it is the most powerful emotion because it leads to action. It makes you laugh, right? And if the chatbot can have that kind of a tone, with a little bit of fun induced and injected into the experience, then it could rise above the transaction and become an emotional sort of experience that you would love to have on a daily basis. And it's not an unfriendly thing, but it becomes somebody that you would love to chat with, right? So you can do lots of things in that space with technology.
So we are doing more and more of these micro moments. We are creating short form videos. So how do you bring creative storytelling into it? Are there some great examples of companies who are setting a benchmark, who are pushing the envelope for what is possible?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. Because like we were speaking before, the attention span of the goldfish, right? So how do you counter that? I think storytelling is need not be limited by time. So 10 years ago, we launched the Thumb Stoppers, which was a media plan for Facebook, which was all about making 10-second films, which communicated the entire story. So if it was funny, it was just 10 seconds. If it was an emotion of leading you, which led you to the action of tears, or you're crying, it was done in 10 seconds. So people have been actually compressing time. And it's a challenge for creative people to communicate in lesser amount of time. Ideally, it is the feature length time, right? To tell a story, you'll need 90 minutes, right? Or 3 hours. And that's when we all love the experience, right? Because there is joy, all the navarasas of the emotion come out in that length of time. But when you have a shorter span, you got to decide on one emotion. And what is that emotion that you can capture and deliver in that short span of time? We can even do it in 1 second. All of us know GIFs, right? So we've, for Tata Gluco Plus, we've created something called the EnerGIFs, which are actually 1 second clips, but they're played on loop. So, the loop itself leads to an experience and an emotion, and you can build on that. So while it is a challenge, it can be done.
Excellent. Now, you work with some of the world's most iconic companies, Nike, etc. What is it about them and the way they approach you that gives you that creative liberty to come up with this? Is it, I'm sure that the brief is different, or the way they empower you, or way they, tell you something that brings out the best in you that is not consistent across the board. So how should, let's say, great technology companies be approaching people like you to say, make this vision possible of injecting emotion and brand and story into technology?
I think it should be more of a challenge than a brief. When it comes to Nike, it's always that one line which they give you. I mean, no, but they're always off the moment. So they don't do campaigns generally for products unless it's really important or something innovative that they've come up with. Ideally it's during a World Cup or during a particular event or a star is retiring. That's when you would do communication or create a film, right? But usually the brief, the one-line brief is everyone who is watching the communication or is experiencing that ad should get up and go and play that sport. That's why they have the line, just do it, right? So it leads to action. The emotion of inspiring even a very fat young kid to actually get up and tie those shoelaces and go out for a jog early in the morning is what the ambition, the aspiration, and the experience of the brand is. So when you connect all those with just one simple line, it leads to a lot of emotional action. Right?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bhaskar, NASSCOM is really sitting at the cusp of this startup, global capability center, digital ecosystems. You are, paving the way forward for this entire new era. So how do you see, digital platforms are enabling us to reshape these consumer experiences or orchestrating these experiences moving forward?
No, and first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a very interesting question. Within NASSCOM, obviously, we are an industry association for IT and ITES. And, but I will take it in a very different way. I will tell you when we talk about the customer experience. And this is the myth which I have realized around 10 or 12 years back, or more than that. I have joined a logistic firm, I will not name it. When I joined, I was talking all IT can do this and what not. And the guy who was on the vessel, he said, you know what? When IT was not there, my vessel were in the ocean. So if you infuse technology with the business, I think that plays the magic. Even we had a meeting with the minister in the morning. And that's what we are talking about, how it's going to impact the bottom line and the top line, whether it's a GCC, whether it's a small and medium enterprises. And in case of customer experience, if you will see and forget about all the jazzy stuff, I will give you a very real example. When you all are tired today, you go back home and whether your husband or wife or a help, just offer you a cup of tea. There's a smile on your face. And that is the customer experience for me. Because the definition of the customer, it changes from one part to another. I'm trying to be a little creative like him, so I'm just giving those answers. Because that's how for me, customer, I will give you another example. Last week, I was in Chennai, in Taj. And the moment I entered in my room, I got a call, sir, last time you have consumed this coffee, and this is what we have placed for you. Do you need something else? And that hyper-personalization plays a very important role. And if you start on that note, I think your day is definitely going to be magical. That's how I look at it.
Excellent. Thank you. And you talked about Taj, just to let you know that Taj was the #1 company in our entire list of 400 companies because they really aced experience across the brand. They're one of the global leaders of hospitality. They won the world's best hospitality brand for now several years in a row. They also aced the best employee experience. You know how Taj employees are so proud of working for that. And the way they even right from hiring the team, that's the moment they start on orchestrating their experience.
No, I will tell you one more thing in Taj what has happened, and these are very eye-openers. And within NASSCOM, when we work with GCC and IT services, we also recommend when you are talking to customer, it's a very cliche, we all use customer is the king. But when I was leaving, I was checking out, they said this is a parting gift. It's a very small thing, but that gesture plays a very, very important role. And that's why I thought I will just bring out this point, whether you are in a technology industry, you are working with the multinationals, but that hyper-personalization plays a very, very important role. And I have spent my 25 years in sales before NASSCOM. And what I have learned is if that human touch, even the last panel they were talking about, plays a very important role and it has to be infused with the technology. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Coming to talk about that, one of other greatest companies in Bangalore has made it to the top 10. That is none other than Bangalore International Airport. And it so happens that it is a couple of team members used to work in Taj before. So they have brought in some of those experiences into orchestrating a fabulous airport experience, which is now best in class in the world. A follow-up question to you, Bhaskar. We talk about, so where is the opportunity? As we move from efficiency, the technology layer has created a lot of efficiency. But where is the opportunity for India's tech companies and other companies to transition from efficiency to orchestrating experiences moving forward? Where do you see, what are the avenues available for innovation and growth?
So when we talk about innovation, and it's a very pertinent question, and we had actually a discussion on this also. We like to be called as an epicenter of innovation, but are we thinking or spending some time on that? And this is one of the major questions in GCC arena, I can tell you, Manoj. When we talk about GCC, everyone is talking about the value proposition. But how much time you are spending on the innovation, and we all are responsible for it. I also manage the complete IP piece for NASSCOM, wherein we are talking about how you can go towards the journey of innovation. It's not only filing a patent, because that could be the end. You need to create that mindset or the culture of innovation. And at least my recommendation, and I do that, at least 20% of your time spent in innovation. And it cannot be always a jazzy stuff. It could be something which you can solve a problem. This is one of my hobby, Manoj. I go and speak to many of the students in school, by the way, those who are in 5th, 6th, 9th standards. And I just ask them, what is the problem you have faced? We are so technical now, and we became completely got into those jazzy jargons. We say problem statements, right? We all use that. These are the problems you can figure out on a daily basis, even when you enter here. In the last panel, I think somebody was talking about Digi Yatra is going to be used in hospitality. It's actually helped all of us, and it's, by the way, it's a foundation. It's a non-profit. So just identify the problem, whether you are a GCC, whether you are IT services, whether you are a SME, and if you can solve that problem, I think that could be the way I look towards that.
Excellent, thank you. Let's move on to cool as cucumber, Sean. Sean, you play a role in a very infrastructure delivery company, and you are playing a role as the country experience lead for orchestrating design and experience. So what does this chip to experience, how do you navigate it? How do you even make it that vision? How do you connect with customers to unlock the value from chip to experience?
Yeah, thank you for your question. And probably you might be wondering what is chips to experience, right? And we believe that, and I've worked with this space for a long, long time, enough time to know that experience cannot be driven at a singular layer. It's both a very complex theory as well as a very simple, state of mind. And this dilemma between the complexity and the simplicity that it brings around is the tension that we choose to solve. I'll highlight what does that mean, right? A lot of times we hear that it's not so much about, and people don't really remember you in terms of how, what you did for them or what you said to them. They remember you in terms of how you made them feel. Now, if that is to be true, Kyndryl or any other organization that's driving these mission-critical systems in the whole larger purview of, offering a great experience for your customers and your customers' customers, it's super important to start with the point of view of what is technology solving for you, how is technology enabling you, and at the end of it, how is technology finally making you feel. And this whole transition from infrastructure to finally how it ladders up in terms of the experience, that's the truth that we are chasing. Because if you have your infra layer right, it gives you the leverage, as leverage as a data-driven leverage, to ladder it all the way up, to translate it almost into your hardware layer, your applications layer, and finally your experience layer that sticks. Because if we don't look at it end to end and holistically, you're missing out on a point that could be otherwise very meaningful.
Excellent. So Sean, can you tell us, for example, can you give us an example where the integration of data, AI, design has all helped us orchestrate a better experience?
Oh, absolutely. And even before I give you an example, I think most of what we are seeing in our customers' premises, that we are so invested in building POCs, AI-driven POCs, right? And it's all still very compartmentalized. It's happening in silos. But true experience can be driven once you orchestrate all the layers together. And that cannot be done, first of all, if silos between departments are not broken. Second of all, if your people are not as ready as your technology. And thirdly, if you're not orchestrating a single source of truth in making your organizations AI ready, right? So having said that, look at it like this, and someone mentioned just a while back in the previous panel, is it is not enough to have just experience leading it out, and experience is almost like, something that you demand. Indian customers are very aware of what they deserve. Their expectations are extremely layered in terms of what is the dynamics of the industry, what are your competitors offering. So they have a very informed point of view. And that informed point of view is not easy to fool, right? So what we realize in this case, that unless you are hearing what your infrastructure or your chips data is talking, maybe it's indicating a network lag, and then you know how to channelize your experiences into another network. Maybe your intelligence in the infra layer is telling you that, okay, there is a latency that might happen in the next few days, or there could be a possible security threat, rather than you still playing along and having your users or your customers be a part or be a victim of the security system that could be compromised. You already give them a path B, and you lead them. You make them feel in control, and that is what we are talking about, either multi-channel experience or hyper-personalization. That's almost like a given at any point of time.
Excellent, thank you. Senthil, coming back to you, how can we infuse this emotion? We are driven by algorithms. Everything seems to be algorithm. We are spending hours and hours consuming these digital plays. So how does a company infuse the emotion, the storytelling, and you alluded, you said humor, etc. But can we drill down a little deeper and say, how do you do that? How do you connect psychologically, emotionally, and unlock value over a sustained period of time?
I think in any, not just in advertising and communication, even in the technology and all the arenas you're talking about, it's important to connect with the audience, right? It's important to understand the audience first and what their expectations are. And once you understand the audience, you do enough insight mining and reach out to what they're all about, and then you connect the dots and use the most powerful emotions again to actually connect with that audience and lead to action, then they will always remember you. Because if it is transactional, you're forgotten in that very instant. The moment the package is delivered, you forget which brand it was, or who the courier company was, or what the technology was. But if you lead with an experience, they will never forget you. You never forget somebody who makes you laugh. You never forget somebody who makes you feel very good or feel very happy. You even never forget somebody who makes you feel very sad, which leads to tears. So somewhere the power of emotion and the tools of technology have to find a bridge to actually amplify the experience and make it unforgettable.
Yeah. Okay, maybe the last topic, which, we have just a couple of minutes. Is there a burning question from anybody in the audience? Yes, please. Okay, I can pass it to you. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for the moderator and the panelists on the stage. Myself, Dr. Pavana Pradeep. I have a question to Senthil Kumar. So I heard right now that you have a campaign like Bleed Blue campaign in 2012, which was completely human driven, I believe. So now you have one more campaign for women's cricket. So what do you think, how AI has evolved? How do you craft, ideate and craft and execute this campaign at this scale? And what do you think, which parts of the creative process cannot be replaced by AI?
Is AI going to take your job? She's asking you politely.
That's the underlying question.
Yeah.
Because I'm an AI researcher, so that's why.
Thank you.
So none of those campaigns were done with AI. Bleed Blue happened in 2012, right? I mean, that is all HI. It's all human intelligence. Even the recent campaign which you did for the Women's World Cup for ICC, which is Will to Win, was entirely human intelligence. There was no AI in it, right? So, but I think the difference and the reason that HI will always lead is AI is just a machine, right? Which sort of collects all the data from around the universe and actually vomits out a particular form, which you might like, which you might not like, and then you will have to keep on working on it and crafting it to make it workable, right? So therefore, what is missing in AI even today is the emotion, right? AI can never get the emotion right. And as long as that happens, HI is going to do very well, right? Creative people still have their jobs, and we'll be able to create more fantastic work. Even in cinema, if you look at the recent films, even the trailer which was released of Varanasi has a lot of AI in it, right? But when it comes to the full film and the storytelling that you will see in the feature, there'll be very little of it, because it's just to trigger that unusual frames and things you haven't seen before that AI is being used right now, right? Not for the actual storytelling.
Yeah. Just a quick last one line, if anybody wants to say, what is the one key takeaway from today's session that you want the audience to take away to help us succeed in this experience economy?
I think my first line, we talk about AI and everything. Human will exist and play a very important role. AI cannot replace it. It can help, enable, but human in loop has to be there.
Okay. Sean?
Yeah, I think the takeaway is CX is very contextual. One size doesn't fit all, right? And it's defined by where you are at today and where you would want to go tomorrow. So make sure that there is, a very cognizant of, you're very cognizant of the path that you're wanting to traverse together, and then build a strategy, but also translate that into action. Finally, every little moment counts.
Excellent. Senthil, last word.
Emotion has to lead to action. And that's when everything will fall in place. That's the experience, right?
Okay.
So I think that should be the underline for me as a creative person, for everybody who's creating something, either with technology or with AI or with anything. Emotion has to lead to some particular action. an outcome, like you say, which defines what the brand wants to do, what the connection has to be, and therefore the experience that elevates the entire journey, right?
Excellent. Great. On that note, please join me in thanking them. Exceptional inputs. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Bhaskar. Thank you, Sean. And I encourage you all to, you can search for the State of CX India. You can search online. It will land on the website, State of CX India. The report is available. And please do engage with us. We would love to collaborate so that we can advance the state of CX in this country. Thank you all. Come. People just don't clap in this country. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I can begin.
Well, thanks to all the panelists for the electrifying session on the platform Power Play, Tech Shaping the New Age Consumer Behavior. May I request Sri Manoj Menanji to kindly present our token of respect to all the panelists. May I request all the panelists to kindly accept our token of respect.
To them. Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Bhaskar. Yeah. Okay. Now you want to see that? You just know what you're getting. It's a record. Thank you. Excellent. You, yeah, ladies first, okay? Thank you.
May I request Sri Bhaskar Varmaji to kindly present our token of love to Manoj Menanji.
Thank you. Excellent. Yeah. You have to read the book. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I also will get it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Bhaskar. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks to all the panelists once again. Moving on, we have a session on building resilient critical infrastructure for a digital nation. We have Sri Rakesh Ranjan ji to moderate the session, CDO BFSI Kindrel. May I request Sri